Hello, sweetheart. I'm so pleased that you've had the courage to join me for this small yoga sequence, which I've designed to support your body as it moves through the loss of a pregnancy. I've designed this particular sequence to be performed without props. However, if you like to have props to support your yoga practice, by all means use them. And I will pull them in here and there just to show some modifications that might make these poses a little bit more comfortable for you. I will design a future sequence that will be almost entirely restorative and yin yoga poses, which will use a lot of props. But for now, I thought that we would just use our bodies. And I've designed this particular sequence to focus on some of the areas that I found tightened up really a lot on me while I was experiencing a miscarriage several weeks ago. So to begin with, I really suggest that you check out the recorded meditation that I've also provided along with this, because it's a really nice way to start a practice. I always think that meditation is a really nice way to help us process our feelings. If you're anything like me, unprocessed feelings often turn into serious illness. So we'd really like to prevent that if at all possible. For now, I'll move through this sequence. I'm going to give some verbal cues, and I'm also going to demonstrate the sequence. And I'm really hopeful that this will be something that helps you out, helps you come back to your body, helps you process some of this experience physically. Because when I was going through this miscarriage, I really found that some of the resources were lacking, probably due in large part to the fact that this is something we don't talk about. So I'm really excited that you're here to join me, and let's start with our sequence. I always believe that warming up the body is a really important way to start our yoga sequence. And I'm going to start this sequence with a neck opener that you'll often see in my classes if you've joined me here at Exhale Studio. That's where I'm recording today. It's a beautiful space in downtown Cranbrook, and if you haven't checked it out, I really suggest that you do. So to begin with, let's move through our neck a little bit. We're going to place the left hand on the left thigh, and we're going to spider walk the right hand out to the right. Now I want you to stop before you tilt. We want to be nice and upright. And then you're going to drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. And we're just breathing into the neck. You want to keep this left shoulder soft. Belly's engaged. And just allow that neck to soften. We're going to exhale and drop the chin. Inhale, lift the gaze. Starting to get some movement in the side of the neck here. It doesn't have to be a big movement. And please remember that we're never moving into pain. And I'm going to invite you to move through this as long as it feels good for you. I'm going to move on to the other side for the time factor. So we'll spider walk the left hand out to the left, nice tall spine, and drop the ear towards the right shoulder. So remember that we're using our Ujjayi breathing if that feels comfortable for you. Deeply inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And then starting that movement again. And coming back to center. Let's shrug the shoulders a couple of times. Waking that upper body. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet together for diamond pose. This is a yin yoga pose. It's similar to Baddha Konasana, wherein we would bring our feet closer to our pelvis. But let's do a nice easy diamond shape of the inner legs. We're going to start to nourish those hips. So I'm going to ask you to take a nice inhale and have a nice long spine. And then we're going to walk the hands forward on the exhale and tuck the chin. I'll do a little bit of a side view so you can see this from another angle. So see how my feet aren't too close to the pelvis? And inhale and tuck. And hold. And breathe. Now, one of the options here that I'd like to offer you while you're working through diamond pose can be one of these really nice bolsters. This is by Half Moon. They're excellent products, all naturally made. So we're gonna fold forward over this bolster, and this can offer a lot of comfort and allow gravity to work through your hips. Now again here, if this feels really good, I'll invite you to pause the video and hold this as long as it feels nice for you. For me, this post-pregnancy loss journey, the most important thing is to do what feels right for you. And I understand that nothing feels right for a while, but we're gonna get as close to right as we possibly can. And we're gonna do it a little bit at a time. And so if what feels best for you is to hold diamond pose for the next half hour and do nothing else, you won't get any argument from me. So please feel free to hold this as long as it feels good for you. We're gonna inhale and pull the legs back together. And then we're gonna come around to all fours. And we're gonna do some cat-cow. Like I said, we tend to really armor that heart when we're hurt. And that can translate into tightness in the chest, tightness in the upper back and neck. So from here, we're gonna make sure that those wrists are really stacked under the shoulders. Hips are stacked under, or excuse me, knees are stacked under the hips. That means that your hands are wider than your feet. And I really want you to root down through your palm because that's gonna keep you off your wrist a little bit. So this is a nice neutral spine. And on the inhale, we're gonna wake up the pelvis. Inhale, open the chest. And then exhale, tuck the chin, round the back. And let's flow through this a couple of times. Coming back into the back body. Flowing through the spine. Really good. Feels good to get back into the body, doesn't it? Even when our hearts are sad. Now from here, I'll invite you to take a child's pose if that feels good for you. So you can bring your big toes together, bring your knees apart, so there's lots of room here for your torso. Walk your hands down and then drop your chest towards the floor. And really spend a few breaths here. This is calming for the mind. It's also really nice for the hips and the upper back. And when you feel ready, following your inhale back up to all fours here. I'd really like to move through thread the needle. This is also a really nice pose for your upper back. So you're gonna keep your sit bones high, and we're gonna extend that right hand out to the right, and then we're gonna slide it through. So we're coming to rest on this side of the head. Now this is another one where you might like to use a prop because we wanna make sure that neck is nice and supported. So find your way here. You can close your eyes. Coming into your upper back. We're starting to loosen some of that armor around the heart. If you'd like to come and wrap your left arm around your back body, please do. I'll show you this from another angle. And slide through. So holding here and thread the needle, hold it as long as you like. We'll move through the other side. You might like a child's pose in between, extending the left hand out and moving into your upper body. We're starting to loosen up those muscles around the heart, coming back into our body, reintroducing ourselves, and really taking the time to nourish ourselves back into life. So from here, I'd really like to move into pigeon pose. This can be a little bit intense, so bear with it, bear with the process. There's a couple of different ways to come into this. From here, we're just going to come through all fours, and we're going to step that right leg through. So the goal for pigeon pose is that we're going to be parallel with the top of the mat with the shin bone. But if that feels like it's tweaking the knee at all, you can pull that right foot a little closer to your pelvis. We want the back foot to be fairly straight. We want the hips to be as square to the front of the room as they're going to be today. And let's just roll that heart open. And take a breath here. So this is proud pigeon pose, and this can even become a little bit of a back bend if that feels good for you. But let's, for today, we'll do the sleeping swan version, which is from the yin yoga sequence. Coming all the way out, resting the forehead. Now again, one of these props can be a really good friend for you here. You can rest your forehead on a block, or you can rest on your forearms. Either way, I'd really like it if you could spend a good couple of minutes here in pigeon pose. As you may know, our hips tend to be sort of an energy storage center. So when we're feeling sadness or negative emotions, particularly surrounding home and family, we can really tend to store them in our hips. Not to mention the physicality that comes along with the loss of a pregnancy. We experience a lot of tightness in our hip flexors. So I'd really like it if you could spend a few breaths in pigeon. When you're ready, we'll move through the other side. Please be with these poses as long as you like, as long as you can, as long as it still feels good for you. And allow the emotions to arise if they will. It's okay if you cry. It's okay if you yell, provided that you're not at work or something like that. We really want to move with this. We want to be with it and experience it so that we don't stay stuck right here for the rest of our lives. So another pose that I'd really like to move through is going to be a wide straddle. So I'd love for you to take a wide stance with your legs. It can feel nice to sit off of a prop for this pose. So if you're going to sit on a prop, just scoot your sit bones forward just a little bit because we want to be sitting on the fronts of them. And then pull your toes back towards your knees. Knees don't need to be super straight. We're trying to get a nice stretch in the inner legs. So if they're a little bit bent, that's cool. We just mostly want to make sure that we're nice and aligned. Tuck the belly in best you can, and then we're going to walk the hands forward and tuck the chin. This can be another one of those instances where a prop can be helpful. You can bring the bolster across your knees and fold over that. You can bring it this way and rest on it. This doesn't need to be a wickedly deep stretch in order to be beneficial. In yin yoga, we find our edge, and our edge is just where we stop naturally, and keeping in mind that if you've just lost a pregnancy, where your body is now might not be where you normally find your edge. So find your edge, it's comfortable, and then stop there and hold. So we come to stillness, and then we throw some time at it. And I'm a big proponent of throwing time at painful situations. And we're not talking about unconscious time, we're talking about deep, reflective, meditative time. So when you find your edge, and you hold in stillness, it really allows what's there to arise and for us to experience it in a safe way. And that's really what we're going for with DC and yoga poses. So please hold this as long as you feel comfortable. I think from here, we're going to bring the legs back together, and then we're going to bring the feet flat on the floor. Hands are going to go behind the sitting bones. So when you've completed this straddle pose, we're going to move through windshield wiper pose, just allowing the hips to fall side to side. Shaking out some of that excess energy that might have stored up in them. And then from here, I'd like us to move to our backs. We're going to do a little bit of a twist. So do your best here, nice open heart and rolling down the spine. And then let your hands come out to the sides. It looks like I'm headless here. I'm going to move down. Good. And from here, I'm going to ask you to push down on your feet, lift the pelvis, bring the pelvis over to the right, and then let those knees fall over to the left. You can turn your head to the right if you like. You really want to make sure that those shoulders are on the floor. And again, you can bring a prop under your knees if you're feeling a little bit unsupported. And just breathe here and hold. This is detoxifying. It's also really important for the health of our spine. I'd love for you to hold here for a few more breaths. When you're ready, bring the pelvis back to center. You can squeeze the knees into the chest if you like. And then when you're ready, moving through the other side. And drop the knees. You can turn the head the other way. Take some breaths here. And come back to center. Squeeze the knees. Now from here, what I'd really love for you to do for yourself is to find a comfortable space on your mat and move through Shavasana with me. I'll provide you with another MP3 at the end of this video, and you can put it on and really take a few moments to absorb the work that you've done in your body through this sequence of yoga asanas. Shavasana is really essential when it comes to absorbing and rejuvenating, and that's what we're really all about here. We're really all about the healing process and going through that together. So for now, I will say namaste. I'm grateful that you're here with me. I'm grateful that we're going through this together, and I really hope that you will leave me some comments below and let me know how you're feeling and what you're thinking, and if you have any suggestions. I'm sending all my blessings your way for a healing journey. Namaste.